The Wilmington Cape Fear Home Builders Association serves as the advocate for the building industry, advancing professionalism and promoting community involvement. We are a positive force for responsible growth while protecting property rights and the privilege of home ownership. 3 out of every 5 jobs is touched in some manner by construction in our region. Growth generates jobs, maintains our property values, and builds and updates our infrastructure. Join us Friday mornings for the Construction Connection with the Wilmington Cape Fear Home Builders Association and the Big Talker FM.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song.
I love these nachos.
I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy.
What's your name?
You know what I love?
A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Hello, I'm Matt Bennett with WWAY News. A New Hanover County Board of Education member and candidate has filed a complaint with the State Board of Elections. Nelson Bollier alleges current board member and candidate Judy Justice misled voters by printing palm cards promoting herself as well as 2 other candidates, saying they were endorsed by teachers. Bollier cited a post Justice made which said those cards were paid for by teachers. However, Justice's financial records indicate she received a large donation from Jen Mangrum, a former state Senate candidate. Justice says she received donations from Mangrum and teachers in the area, and that those funds paid for the palm cards. Attorney General Josh Stein says North Carolina's local governments have started receiving the first payments from a major settlement with multiple companies accused of helping fuel the opioid epidemic. The payments, which started arriving this week, come from a $26 billion national opioid agreement with 4 major companies. The state of North Carolina got about $4.5 million from the settlement. 65 local governments across the state also are getting a share of about $13 million. If you're heading to shops, restaurants, or concerts in downtown Wilmington, it may cost a bit more for drivers if City Council votes to adopt an upcoming budget. That budget includes higher parking rates that could go into effect in August. Parking manager Chance Dunbar recommended rate increases for both on-street and deck parking. A study which compared Wilmington's parking fees to areas like Durham and Wrightsville Beach showed that Wilmington's fees are drastically lower. Council will vote on the budget at its meetings scheduled for June 7th and June 21st. In Pender County, a guilty verdict for a Rocky Point man accused of arson. Hector Zapata was convicted of first-degree arson and 2 counts of breaking and entering. On August 23, 2020, Zapata set fire to a house on South Alderman Street in Atkinson. 3 people were in the home at the time. Fortunately, they were not hurt. For more on these stories, you can head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Matt Bennett. Have a great day.
Happy Friday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. Get ready for another warm one in the Cape Fear, but not as hot as it's been over the past several days. High temperatures away from the coast will climb into the low 90s. Along the immediate coastline, we'll get into the upper 80s. The good news is today we have a cold front that's going to push into our area, elevating our shower and storm chances this evening. As that front pushes into our area, the threat for damaging winds and even some heavier downpours and lightning all on the cards. Overnight tonight, though, temperatures fall down to the middle and upper 60s. And get your full forecast on WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by 2 Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to 2menandatruck.com. 2menandatruck.com.
This show is also sponsored by Dr. Tony Maglione. Dr. Tony is a cardiologist practicing in Wilmington. He accepts Medicare patients, and his office is located across the street from New Hanover Regional Medical Center at 2032 17th Street. The office number is 202-1071. Dr. Tony is an author whose last book is Rules for Conservative Patriots, and it can be purchased on Amazon. His website is www.drtonymag.com.
I am State Farm Agent Rob Renz, and I want to help you get to a better place. Visit us online at ilminsurance.com. That's ilminsurance.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hey, welcome back to another episode, another version, if you will, of the... there we are. Where am I? I'm at the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad, right here on the Big Talker Network. Welcome back to the final Friday. It's like the end of the school year, people are graduating, and on top of that, our radio station is going to move out of the garage. There's the mic drop I was waiting on. That's right. This is our final Friday in the garage, and soon we will be broadcasting from the air-conditioned environment of the inside of the home. Using new equipment, new gear, bringing a new show online. Maybe delayed by about a week, but we're working on it. We're trying to bring new stuff every day. I just got to get my peoples to work with me on it and get the schedule up and running. You know, sort of make that commitment. It's important. Didn't really have anything on my mind. Thought I would rip through some of the Asylum news. Newsworthy of the Asylum. I'm going to touch on a subject I don't normally chat about, but I think you're going to enjoy this. That's right. Let's go to the Ukraine, and talk dogs. No, we're not talking Nathans. We're talking German Shepherds. This is a fantastic story, and I just got to run with it. We know there have been lots of people deserting the Russian invasion. A lot of Russians deserting and becoming Ukraine, or, running home saying, I don't want to do this. This is ridiculous. Well, how about if your dog... That's right, a dog deserts Russian special forces to fight for Ukraine on the front line. Now, keep in mind, the Russian army has trouble feeding their soldiers. Can you imagine what their dogs would go through? Well, let me introduce you to Max. As it turns out, you can teach an old dog new tricks. A fierce Fido had a change of heart after being abandoned by Russian forces, teaming up with Ukrainian soldiers in the ongoing war that began February 24th. Excuse me, it's not a German Shepherd. Apparently it's a 3-year-old Belgian Malinois, I think that's how it's pronounced, named Max, was once starved by the Russians and found nearly dead by Ukrainians who took him to safety. Before his discovery, Max was surviving off of leftover scraps on the ground while wandering in the forest wearing a Russian military collar. We can't understand why the Russians would leave behind such a lovely animal, one soldier said, according to Pets Radar. After nursing him to full health, his new family enrolled him in combat training, teaching him to sniff out mines and even some Ukrainian commands. From now on, the Mykolaiv National Guards have a trophy dog with the nickname Max, said a post on the military unit's official Facebook page. The shepherd belonged to the occupiers of the Rosgvardi Zaka, or whatever, I don't know how to pronounce it, who captured one of the villages in Mykolaiv region. From now on, Max will serve on the right side and defend Ukraine, it continued. They got a cute picture of him with a big bag of dog food. He's just a happy camper. I mean, as far as dogs go, this one looks like a real go-getter. They are tremendously loyal, but Max has obviously been convinced that the Ukrainians are now his new masters, a British Special Forces soldier said. And since the canine is so clever, he's beginning to work with the Ukrainian National Guard. He joins the ranks of fellow military mutt Patron, a Jack Russell Terrier that won a Medal of Honor for saving lives by sniffing out explosives. The main tasks are to check citizens on checkpoints and search for saboteurs, one soldier told Triangle News, adding that Max will also learn to find people, not just bombs. The dogs of this breed, namely Belgian Shepherd, have a very good, almost perfect memory. Huh. So, rescue dog done good. That's pretty awesome, don't you think? There are a lot of people trying to leave the war with their pets, right? Trying to evacuate some of these cities. And here's a dog that had been left behind by Russian forces. Obviously, the Russian forces, if you know the term, that it all trickles downhill. So probably the Russian soldiers were abusing the dog because they didn't like where they were. So they took it out on the animal. Hey, why not? It works for them. Couple little tweaks over here. Look at that. Oh, almost. So, that's the beginning of our Friday. What do you think? Starts out with a dog. It's a good story. Feels good, right? Nobody's hurt. No pitcher plants in Cambodia. That one still knocks over a few people when I remind them of it. They just don't believe that somebody would run a story like that. Huh? Yeah, well, I will. Right here on the Asylum. Where else would you get news like this? Of course you wouldn't. Now here's, only because it's a news story, it's Friday, and it's all I've got, so deal with it. The French people, love them or hate them, I would say that it is possible for the French to be just as obsessed and stupid as Americans. And that their lives are so mundane that they have to do something stupid to gain attention and notoriety. Therefore, we will oblige them. A French man bungee jumps from Scottish Bridge 765 times in 24 hours. June 1st, a French man broke a Guinness World Record in Scotland by bungee jumping from a bridge 765 times in a 24-hour period. I don't think the Guinness Book of World Record is going to do humanity any good. Right? Because if people exist only to break a world record, never mind. They stopped with a few of them because they were dangerous, like the stuff in your face with bad food. They stopped that one because apparently it can lead to health consequences. Imagine that. But in this case, Francois-Marie Devon, 44, bungee jumped from a bridge over the River Garry in Pitlochry, Perthshire, 765 times between 10:10 a.m. Tuesday and the same time Wednesday morning. 24 hours of bungee. The previous record of 430 jumps was set by New Zealand bungee jumper Mike Hurd in 2017. De Bon equaled Hurd's total in his first 10 hours of jumping. De Bon's record attempt was overseen by personnel from Highland Fling Bungee of Killiecrankie, Pitlochry. The Guinness World Records adjudicator was on hand to verify the record. Okay, so my question is the reset. Hey, you reset this guy's bungee jumping stuff 765 times in a 24-hour period. I'm hoping he has better life insurance than he lets on, right? Because chances are he's not going to land well on one of those, right? It's going to be bad. It would be bad. I need to adjust this gate. How's that? Oh yeah, much better. I like that. Oh yeah, look at that. I can burp now and not make it to mic. I actually have to speak into the mic. Oh, nice. So that, yeah, when I get yelled at by my roommate, it won't get. Yeah, this is nice. All right. Yeah, again, Final Friday is still working out some of the testing and some of the tweaks and such to make fantastic radio for you guys. Probably won't be my voice, but you know that's part of what this is about. Oh, look at that! It even does have a de-esser. Oh, I did not know that. Oh man, that is awesome. I had no idea. So, hey, yeah, it's in that frequency. I thought it was more in 4K. This is what it's like to be a nerd because it never leaves you, right? You will always... That's wicked. I like that. Where are we centered? 4.8, 4.6. Yeah, it sounds like a steam train leaving the station. I like that. What's this one? No, I'm good. All right. That's pretty exciting. One of the things about curiosity is it leads to, progression. You want to improve each time. That's why I would not be the type of person to jump from a bridge 765 times in a 24-hour period. Once, twice, in a lifetime would be plenty, but apparently there's just not enough going on in this man's life that he has to jump from a bridge 765 times, pressing his luck. I don't know, man. I don't know. Pretty crazy. I saw this story pop again this morning on a different website. Hilarious. Mountain lion captured an empty classroom at a high school in Northern California. A custodian was opening Pescadero High School for the school day, Pescadero High for the school day, when the juvenile mountain lion was spotted. He was not spotted. Tigers are spotted. Lions are not. Pescadero, California, quick-thinking custodian can find a curious cougar in an empty classroom after it entered a North Carolina high school Wednesday morning. Talk about a walk of shame. That cougar ended up in the wrong place. Get it? The custodian was opening Pescadero, which I think means fish, like striped bass type fish. Anyway, the custodian was opening Pescadero High School for the day when the juvenile mountain lion was spotted, said Detective Javier Acosta with the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office. No students or teachers were on campus at the time, said Acosta. The mountain lion casually walked through campus and decided to go into an English classroom, he said. The custodians acted quickly and managed to shut the door behind it. Boy, they made that sound like an excursion into enemy territory. Okay, Acosta said the animal estimated to be about 40 pounds appeared lost and scared. The California, you're a mountain lion. What the hell are you afraid of? Let's see, the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, get it? Pescadero, that's why the fish guy would be there, tranquilized the cat and sent it to the Oakland Zoo for examination. The underweight male was estimated to be 4 to 6 months old and had a fractured tooth that will need to be extracted before the cat can be released back into the wild. Pescadero is a small coastal community about 35 miles south of San Francisco. So yeah, if cat in a box, right? Well, the school looks like a really big box with little boxes inside of it. So maybe, right? Oh, I see. That's pretty happening. That's not what I want. It's that one I want. This is... I cannot explain to you the excitement everything is at my fingertips. I don't have to roll around and try and grab knobs. It's paters and... Oh, it's... Woo, this is a good morning right here. And I don't know if you can ever have enough of a good thing, but apparently... One company in Las Vegas has had plenty. Coming out of AP News, company to Las Vegas chapels, no more Elvis-themed weddings. How's that? Las Vegas chapels of love that use Elvis Presley's likeness could find themselves becoming heartbreak hotels. Oh, that's horrible. The licensing company that controls the name and image of the King is ordering Sin City chapel operators to stop using Elvis-themed ceremonies. The Las Vegas Review-Journal reported on Monday. Authentic Brands Group sent cease and desist letters in early May to multiple chapels, which are expected to be compliant by now. With Elvis so closely tied to Vegas' wedding industry, some say the move could decimate their businesses. Look, if you're getting married in a ridiculous, what do they call it, chapels, it's already a bad decision. So let's just eliminate the chapels, right? Because it's not, once you're there, you're paying money to legitimize sex. That's all it is to it. It's a scam. Whatever. It could decimate their business. You're in the wrong business. We are a family-run business, and now we're hanging with the big dogs, said Kayla Collins, who operates Las Vegas ElvisWeddingChapel.com and the Little Chapel of Hearts with her husband. Ha! Not anymore. That's our bread and butter. I don't get it. We were just getting our stride again through COVID, then this happened. Clark County Clerk Lynn Goya, not of Goya Beans, of Fat 45 fame, who led a marketing campaign promoting Las Vegas as a wedding destination, said the order for chapels to stop using Elvis couldn't have come at a worse time for the sector. The city's wedding industry generates $2 billion a year, and officials say Elvis-themed weddings represent a significant number of the ceremonies performed. Still, you're stealing somebody's, intellectual copyright, and you're just being a jerk. Anyway, if you have no other function or capability or skill in your life that you have to be an Elvis impersonator marrying people who should not even know each other's name, then you need another job. One chapel last weekend had its Elvis impersonator change instead into a leather jacket, jeans, and a fedora for a rock and roll themed ceremony, the Review-Journal reported. Graceland Wedding Chapel, which performs 6,400 Elvis-themed weddings per year, has not been served a warning yet, according to manager Ron Mussum. I'm guessing that Graceland, right, there's probably money involved. As long as they're paying the royalties to use the king's likeness. In the cease and desist letter, the company said it would halt unauthorized use of Presley's name, likeness, voice, image, and other elements of Elvis Presley's persona in advertisements, merchandise, and otherwise. The letter also said Elvis Presley, and the King of Rock and Roll are protected trademarks. In a statement Wednesday, Authentic Brands Group said it had a strong relationship with Elvis tribute artists and fan festivals. There is no intention to shut down chapels that offer Elvis packages in Las Vegas. What? Oh, I see. It must be their brand. There's no intention to shut down chapels that offer Elvis packages in Las Vegas. And we are seeking to partner with each of these small businesses to ensure that their use of Elvis's name, image, and likeness are officially licensed and authorized by the estate so they can continue their operations. Elvis is embedded into the fabric of Las Vegas history. No, Elvis is embedded in your bank account. That's what this is. And I think really, if we were like proper, effective, good specimens of the human species, we wouldn't even have these chapels. That's just ridiculous. The licensing company oversees the estates of big names like movie star Marilyn Monroe and boxer Muhammad Ali and 50 consumer brands. Authentic Brands. Think about it. Their job is to do nothing. Nothing helpful. It's not like you can, I don't know, go after the Russian enemies with your adopted dog. What are you going to do with Authentic Brands? You're going to throw a business card at them? A cease and desist. Stop it. Stop it. The order should not translate into legal action against Elvis-themed stage shows in Las Vegas, such as All Shook Up, because impersonating someone for live performances such as shows is considered an exception under Nevada's right of publicity law, according to Mark Trados, a local attorney who helped write the statute. Well, that's curious. So wait a minute. The states, I thought intellectual property rights would fall under federal statutes and abortions would fall under state statutes, but apparently we've got this all upside down. I don't know. So apparently you can perform as Elvis in Las Vegas, or excuse me, at least in Nevada, or for you white people, Nevada. Apparently you can't do that anywhere else. Let's see what happens if we should bring up authentic brands and have them come out here for some of our Elvis. And chances are they would be shut down, not because they're impersonating Elvis, but because they're so bad. An Elvis show is a performer essentially entertaining others by recreating that person on stage. That's what it's a performance when you marry somebody. It's not like the marriage is real. You're in a god-awful chapel in Las Vegas, for Christ's sake. And you're recreating that person literally on a stage. The whole front end of the church is a frickin' stage. And the entire showmanship for 2 hours on a Sunday morning. Every one of those little rituals is a show. I do the same thing on Saturday night at the nightclubs. I just don't chat God, I chat booze. Right? Because I can't get any tips when I do that. But if I say, hey, you know, go get a bourbon and Coke or get drunk and be somebody, and, you know, hey, that generates money. But if I say, hey, you know, go to the chapel and pray, praise Jesus, yeah, there's no tips, there's no drinking, there's no dancing, there's no fun, there's a lot of Karens. So, yeah, if you're going to entertain others by recreating that person on stage, then you have negated your entire argument. Because that's all this is a performance. A wedding is nothing but a really expensive one-day performance. A one-off, as we call it. Presley became indelibly linked to the Sin City in the 60s and 70s. His hit 1964, Viva Las Vegas, yielded a title track that became the city's unofficial theme. In July 1969, Presley famously redefined the Vegas residency with his live stage comeback at the Las Vegas International Hotel. What started as a 4-week gig turned into more than 600 shows and lasted until December 1976. Presley himself got married in Las Vegas in 1967 to wife Priscilla, cementing his association with Vegas weddings. You did not do us any favors there, Aaron. Kent Ripley, whose business is called Elvis Wedding, said he has never run into this issue in 25 years of performing as Elvis because they had never sent a cease and desist letter, you idiot. But if you're riding on somebody else's coattails, at some point they're going to yank that and say, you know what? No. They want to protect the Elvis brand, but what they are protecting by taking Elvis away from the public, Ripley asked. They're not taking Elvis away from the public, you moron. They're just making sure that the right people get the money for exploiting the guy. Of course, he's dead. He can't, protect himself or defend himself. But then again, he couldn't do that during his residency. He was so doped up. Oh, my God, you can't say that. Look, Rush Limbaugh, Elvis Presley, drug addicts. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter what you are. Being a drug addict will find you. Especially at that level. So his 600 days in Vegas, it was guaranteed income. Because the guy was pretty much unemployable by that point. He didn't need to do another show again in his life. But his ego and his, he had already, I don't know. Because once you get to that point, the guy's egg was already scrambled by the time he moved to Vegas, right? And there were so many critics that are like actual film critics who look at some of Elvis's stuff and they're like, ooh, they did that basically for star power. That's it. The movie sucked, the acting sucked, the shooting sucked, everything sucked. But they had star power by putting Elvis up there in the front. Now, I'm not going to say that Elvis was the best singer ever. He wasn't. There are a lot of others. He just happened to be one of the ones that first took everything that made black music popular and bleached it, whiteified it. That's a different argument for a different day, but, don't... This is, again, worshiping, which is usually a bad idea, and it leads to disappointment for those who are doing the worshiping. No person is that good. I mean, think about it. Even Mother Teresa had nightmares. Oh. I get to do another trick. Let's see if I can do it with this. And I will go boom. Nice. Aw. Look at the Wi-Fi. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, the Asylum will be right back after these messages. Yes, right. The Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad, right here on the Big Talker. Don't go nowhere.
Hello, I'm Matt Bennett with WWAY News. A New Hanover County Board of Education member and candidate has filed a complaint with the State Board of Elections. Nelson Bollier alleges current board member and candidate Judy Justice misled voters by printing palm cards promoting herself as well as two other candidates, saying they were endorsed by teachers. Bollier cited a post Justice made which said those cards were paid for by teachers. However, Justice's financial records indicate she received a large donation from Jen Mangrum, a former state Senate candidate. Justice says she received donations from Mangrum and teachers in the area, and that those funds paid for the palm cards. Attorney General Josh Stein says North Carolina's local governments have started receiving the first payments from a major settlement with multiple companies accused of helping fuel the opioid epidemic. The payments, which started arriving this week, come from a $26 billion national opioid agreement with four major companies. The state of North Carolina got about $4.5 million from the settlement. 65 local governments across the state also are getting a share of about $13 million. If you're heading to shops, restaurants, or concerts in downtown Wilmington, it may cost a bit more for drivers if City Council votes to adopt an upcoming budget. That budget includes higher parking rates that could go into effect in August. Parking manager Chance Dunbar recommended rate increases for both on-street and deck parking. A study which compared Wilmington's parking fees to areas like Durham and Wrightsville Beach showed that Wilmington's fees are drastically lower. Council will vote on the budget at its meetings scheduled for June 7th and June 21st. In Pender County, a guilty verdict for a Rocky Point man accused of arson. Hector Zapata was convicted of first-degree arson and 2 counts of breaking and entering. On August 23, 2020, Zapata set fire to a house on South Alderman Street in Atkinson. 3 people were in the home at the time. Fortunately, they were not hurt. For more on these stories, you can head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Matt Bennett. Have a great day.
Happy Friday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. Get ready for another warm one in the Cape Fear, but not as hot as it's been over the past several days. High temperatures away from the coast will climb into the low 90s. Along the immediate coastline, we'll get into the upper 80s. The good news is today we have a cold front that's going to push into our area, elevating our shower and storm chances this evening. As that front pushes into our area, the threat for damaging winds and even some heavier downpours and lightning all on the cards. Overnight tonight, though, temperatures fall down to the middle and upper 60s. And get your full forecast on WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by 2 Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to 2menandatruck.com. 2menandatruck.com.
This show is also sponsored by Dr. Tony Maglione. Dr. Tony is a cardiologist practicing in Wilmington. He accepts Medicare patients, and his office is located across the street from New Hanover Regional Medical Center at 2032 17th Street. The office number is 202-1071. Dr. Tony is an author whose last book is Rules for Conservative Patriots, and it can be purchased on Amazon. His website is www.drtonymag.com.
Enjoying Big Talker Network is as easy as asking for it. Program your digital home assistants such as Google Home, Alexa, and Siri to stream Big Talker Network content by simple voice command. Enjoy convenient hands-free access to program whenever you want, however you want by asking for Big Talker.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Oh. That's the button I needed. The green button, you moron. Hey, welcome back to the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad, right here on the Big Talker. The Big Talker, yes, the Big Talker website, the Big Talker app for Android and iOS devices, all created by the mastermind, Yael Ostrowski, the co-producer, co-host of, what is it called again? Consumer Choice Radio, which will follow this program in about an hour and a half. You should go check it out. It's amazing. It's wonderful. It is a way of life. It's better than the loading zone. You should enjoy it. I think you would. It would be a blast. There you can check out all the other programs like Guns, Politics, Freedom with Paul Vallone. Oh, yeah. We got a lot of good programming. We have another fantastic talk show coming back live on air. Was hoping to premiere it later today. It might have to be over the weekend and we get it together and start the show Monday. I don't know, but we do have a new show coming. I'm very excited to have on air. It will blow your mind. It will be a lot of fun, I promise. You know the guy, you know him well, and he's good. Anything else I should mention? Oh, yes, send us an email with any compliments, questions, concerns, critiques, or comments you may have, because we cannot improve without your assistance. And, hey, let's, ooh. That's pretty happening. I like that one. I'm keeping that one. Okay. All right, so we were talking about, what is it called? Authentic brands. And we mentioned that they, own Marilyn Monroe. Would you believe it? Another cease and desist. Oh, wait. This one's different. Apparently, to pay for the cease and desist letter, they're selling Marilyn Monroe. Let me clarify a little bit. According to TMZ, Marilyn Monroe owned a piece in her 96 B-Day auction. Marilyn Monroe has been dead for almost 60 years, but fans are still as desperate to own a piece of her history. A reality for people with deep pockets, thanks to an upcoming auction. Okay, I'm going to throw a little something on the side here. Okay, Wednesday, June 1st, the day that would have marked Monroe's 96th birthday, Julian's and TCM announces to TMZ a Marilyn collection as part of their upcoming Hollywood Legends auction. Fans will be able to get their hands on everything from Monroe's handwritten notes and famous photographs to costumes worn during movie roles and moments from her career. Among them, Marilyn's beige heels, gold-tone earrings with crystal beads, and her bedazzled gown with a headpiece she wore during the 1954 musical After You Get What You Want, You Don't Want It. The outfit is expected to sell for $80,000 to $100,000. There's also a pair of sequined leotard costumes Marilyn and Jane Russell wore in the 1953 movie Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, which are expected to fetch $100,000. As for the personal stuff, there's a handwritten note from 1955 about her acting classes that's estimated at $3,000 to $5,000. There's also her personally owned APTRA card with receipt of overdue payments and penalties. Ha 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 ha. The items will be available online and in person in Beverly Hills starting Friday, July 15th, and will be up for auction the entire weekend. It looks like Kim Kardashian won't be the only one with the opportunity to pull off a Marilyn Monroe look. Okay. Let's just start here. Marilyn Monroe, dead. 60 years. Great actress, I guess. I don't know. I mean, personally, I think she looked better than she acted. But that's sort of how, starlets worked in Hollywood the entire time. That was the thing. You take a ridiculously good-looking person and you spend a boatload of money dialing them up, giving them a new name, right? Because anybody who knows that Marilyn Monroe is not her name, right? So this isn't really the same person. She was reinvented in a corporate image likeness of that which would sell. This happens a lot. This is how we get boy bands. This is how we get really bad entertainers that have like one record or one movie and that's it. There's just nothing left in their tank because they're not really thespians to any degree. But we, as a species, don't know any better and continue to encourage stupid. Now, let's move on to the other part of this. $100,000 for beige heels, gold tone earrings with crystal beads, bedazzled gown with headpiece, worn during the musical for a scene for $100,000. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have $100,000 laying around to spend on this, and you do, you are a horrible human being. This is one of the reasons why I'm not entirely on board with this whole Musk buying Twitter crap. It's like, for that kind of money, there's a lot more, it's just, I mean, you do what you want with your money, that's fine, right? But don't come to me with some sort of, look, I own Marilyn Monroe's dress. What are you going to do, wear it? You going to go dancing in it? What? What are you going to do with a $100,000 dress that you probably can't even fit into? It's going to get bought by some, like, really disgusting fat YouTube influencer guy. Look, I made enough money that I could buy Marilyn Monroe's dress for $100,000. And it's sitting here in the garage, sitting here in the basement of my mom's house where my bed is, and oh, come on, Live Free, Die Hard. What was that? Command center. It's not a command center, it's a basement. So yeah, it's just stuff like this is, and it's not like the money's going to anything helpful, right? I mean, I could get a little further behind this if it's like, this was, this is to help all the foster children not have to move from house to house in a garbage bag. I mean, I don't know if you know about the reality of what's going on in the rest of the world, but there are thousands upon thousands of children right here in North Carolina that are looking to, they're in the foster system. And not every foster family is the best. Not every foster child is a good fit. So they may end up moving from, location to location. And it's not like they have Samsonite or matching Swiss Army luggage. So they're given like a garbage bag or two. Here, it's time to move to your new foster family. Here's a garbage bag. Right? It's not uncommon for these kids to just never unpack. Because they don't know how long they're going to be in there. They don't know if anybody wants them, right? Their mind has already been ruined. They have no sense of belonging, no sense of place. And yet this guy, here's somebody thinking, we're going to spend $100,000 on a Marilyn Monroe dress that I'll never wear. I mean, things like that, I get it. Historically, they're important. And they should be in my opinion, a public type of display, like a museum, right? I mean, we have those. We do. But to somebody personally owning it, that's, I don't know. Oh, I bet it's I know, it'll be the president of Chemwar so he can do his little cross-dressing at night or something. I don't, Because this guy's making $10 million a year poisoning the Cape Fear River. He has to have something heinous in his background to allow him to continue to poison the Cape Fear watershed, expecting us to just be okay with it. Worse yet, to be okay with Chemwars being the one to determine what wells are tested and which wells are not. No. Yeah, I guess if you're making $10 million a year in bonus, 9 of which are bonuses for killing and poisoning everybody in the Cape Fear River, everybody's, what, I can't say south, but everybody downstream from the Chemworks or whatever it's called. Yeah, he would be the type of mentality that would spend $100,000 on a dress that he could never wear. Right? I mean, if you have that kind of money and you do spend it, I would take the tax hit, right, the tax credit, and donate it to a museum. 'Cause that's where it really belongs. I mean, what are you going to do with it? Really? With her SAG-AFTRA card with the payments and late fees and whatever? No, that should be like horrible, horrible human beings we are. We are just terrible. We are horrible human beings. And the alien overlords really should come and just obliterate us. It's the only thing that can save the universe at this point. New York Post is even talking about the mysterious pulse detected in sky as leaving scientists dumbfounded by Charlotte Edwards, the Sun. Posted by New York Post. Unusual radio signals have been spotted pulsing in the sky about 1,300 light years away from Earth. According to a report in The Conversation, a team of scientists discovered a strange flash or pulse in the Milky Way. That was just a little bit of gas after leaving Taco Bell, sorry. University of Sydney lecturer Manisha Caleb explained in the report, my colleagues and I, the Mir Trap team, made the discovery when observing the Vela X1 region of the Milky Way about 1,300 light years away from Earth using the Meerkat radio telescope in South Africa. We spotted a strange-looking flash or pulse that lasted about 300 milliseconds. He added, this wasn't like anything we had seen before. The scientists found the pulse shared similarities with the emissions from a neutron star. The team scoured through old data from that region of space and found similar signals had been emitted before but had been missed by previous research. The strange pulses were said to be repeating every 76 seconds. A neutron star's pulse cycle is usually a few seconds or less, so scientists started to suspect this wasn't the cause. I think y'all are a little high. Caleb wrote, which means we might have found a completely new class of radio-emitting object. No, I think I can explain it. The research team explained their mysterious findings in a new study published in Nature Astronomy, and it concludes our discovery establishes the existence of ultra-long-period neutron stars, suggesting a possible connection to the evolution of highly magnetized neutron stars, ultra-long-period magnetars, and fast radio bursts. The location of the strange object emitted to pulses has been pinpointed with accuracy. Scientists are now, it's easy to pinpoint on a flash, right? People at war have been doing this for centuries. Look for the flash, chances are there's a gun over there. If you shoot in the direction of the gun, you'll probably hit something. It's pretty accurate. Anyway. Now, scientists are now calling it PSRJ 0941-4046. They think it's a new type of radio-emitting galactic neutron star. What makes it even more unusual is that it's located in a neutron star graveyard. This is an area of space where stars aren't expected to be active. Well, they didn't expect an abandoned Russian dog to defect either. The research thinks future searches for similar stellar objects will be vital to furthering our understanding of space. Okay. Let's slow down. Let's calm down here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a little bit of our elementary physics, right? You guys might be PhDs and super smart genius people, but sometimes the smart people miss the easiest questions, right? It's easy to overlook or neglect to factor in that which you already know because we just take this crap for granted. We don't even think about it. Now, is everyone familiar with a neutron star? No? Okay, a little history, a little background, a little quick, When a star dies and it collapses upon itself, one of the forms that it can take after the death of the star is it becomes a neutron star spinning really, really fast. And it acts like a little miniature black hole, right, that has very high gravity in a very small area, spinning stupid fast. Is that every now and again some stellar debris or maybe a lost, I don't know, NASA probe falls into its atmosphere, crashes into what would be its surface, and explodes, and all that energy gets shot out the poles. Oh, the poles, I should mention, all of these things, right, stars, planets, all of these heavenly bodies, they all spin, all right? They all spin, and just like a skater on ice, when he brings in the arms, they spin faster because now everything's closer to the center, right? Well, when the star gets smaller after exploding and collapsing in on itself, it's spinning really fast. The part that I think they left out is that it's not spinning perfectly centered to its axis. Much like a top, the precession, that's the function of the top spin deteriorating, and as such it wobbles a little bit, and that wobble follows a mathematical path. It can be defined given the speed, given the friction. You can map out that precession. So it's been, it's not going to spin forever. I mean, in the absence of all friction, maybe. But no, this, the entire universe it's expanding. Oh my God, it will slow down. I mean, that is the nature of physics. It will give off its energy. Once that energy is expended, whether it's in a rotation or in a direction, right, in a velocity or a path trajectory, it will lose energy. It has to. Every motion that it makes requires, it loses a little bit of energy. It may be so negligible that we can only measure it over hundreds of years, but it's happening. It's there. Now, if you take a neutron star and it blasts out its energy every, few seconds because it's taking in some dust, and then it explodes when it gets compressed to the point that the bonding force is actually exceeded by gravity and the thing explodes. I mean, that's kind of what happens when things re-enter the atmosphere. Like asteroids. When the asteroid Chukotay or whatever that blew up or Tucunga, it didn't hit the Earth. It never had the chance. What happened was it got so hot from so much friction screaming into the atmosphere that it exceeded the bonding force of the asteroid itself, and you had basically a nuclear airburst. Now, nothing of the components in the asteroid were of radioactive material enough to be of concern, but the fact that the nuclear force, the bonding force that holds all of these things together, these molecules together, once that bonding force was exceeded, that's a nuclear thing, man. That's a lot of energy being released. So think about it. Here's this star. It's spinning, that if you're looking on it dead on its end, like right down the North Pole, and it's spinning perfectly without any precession whatsoever, then we would see a continuous beam of energy. But we don't. And we see it every few seconds because I don't think we're looking down the North Pole. I think we're a little offset, and that the planet has slowed enough that there's a bit of a wobble. So what would normally be a burst within, would be a detectable within a second or two, they're saying it's a period of 76 seconds, right? Let me go back up here. Yeah. Said to repeat every 76 seconds. I think what it is we're getting a nudge of that. We're getting like a taste of that burst. Every time the precession of, because this thing's spinning really fast. It's spinning like as fast as the crankshaft in your car while you're driving down the highway, like, 40 times a second. But the precession, right, that points its pole towards us, right, that wobble may point at us every 76 seconds. I bet that's what's really happening. But these smart guys are too smart for their own good. That's my take on it. And I hope Dr. Mike Siegel puts on his physicist hat and proves me right. Or wrong. Either way, at least I'm trying, I'm guessing, I'm applying what I already know and what I learned in astronomy. Not astrology, astronomy. Actually, it was an astrophysics course, 200 level. Thank you very much. So if you've not been able to even satisfy the requirements to get into astrophysics 200, 201, then shut up. Go read a book. But I find it ridiculous that, just so many people love to comment on things, certainly scientific, without any experience or any curiosity or any knowledge themselves. Right? So if you've applied and actually taken calculus, taken trigonometry, taken physics, taken chemistry, I suck at chemistry, didn't do well. Much better at physics. Then maybe you should just shut up and go look for that information. Go talk to somebody who does know more than you. I was lucky. My stepfather was a nuclear physicist and engineer for Sandia National Laboratories. I had a lot of access to that type of information at a very young age. And I was encouraged to be curious and ask questions like that. But it's something you have to want to do. I can't do it for you, nor can anyone else. Just because it's time to transition from coffee to Mountain Dew. Whoops, wrong button. It's the red one, dude. There it is. When you hit the green button, it all happens. This is pretty sweet. I like this. All right. With that in mind, the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. We'll be right back after these messages. Right here on the Big Talker Network. So please don't go nowhere.
Keeping Holden Beach informed. The Big Talker 106.7 FM WFBT, Carolina Beach. Do you or someone you love suffer from back pain, poor circulation, or struggle to get a good night's sleep? Do you just need help getting into or out of your chair? US Med Express is Wilmington's leading supplier of golden technology lift and sleep chairs, carrying a variety of models in our showroom at 1733 Dawson Street. Our chairs lead the industry in power lift recliner features and advances in technology. Our chairs are FDA certified as medical devices, which means it's 100% tax deductible and helps with a number of medical conditions, including arthritis, poor circulation, and sleep apnea. Give us a call today at 910-500-6162 or stop by and experience our chairs for yourself at 1733 Dawson Street. That's 910-500-6162, 1733 Dawson Street in Wilmington. US Med Express.
Hello, I'm Matt Bennett with WWAY News. A New Hanover County Board of Education member and candidate has filed a complaint with the State Board of Elections. Nelson Bollier alleges current board member and candidate Judy Justice misled voters by printing palm cards promoting herself as well as two other candidates, saying they were endorsed by teachers. Bollier cited a post Justice made which said those cards were paid for by teachers. However, Justice's financial records indicate she received a large donation from Jen Mangrum, a former state Senate candidate. Justice says she received donations from Mangrum and teachers in the area, and that those funds paid for the palm cards. Attorney General Josh Stein says North Carolina's local governments have started receiving the first payments from a major settlement with multiple companies accused of helping fuel the opioid epidemic. The payments, which started arriving this week, come from a $26 billion national opioid agreement with 4 major companies. The state of North Carolina got about $4.5 million from the settlement. 65 local governments across the state also are getting a share of about $13 million. If you're heading to shops, restaurants, or concerts in downtown Wilmington, it may cost a bit more for drivers if City Council votes to adopt an upcoming budget. That budget includes higher parking rates that could go into effect in August. Parking manager Chance Dunbar recommended rate increases for both on-street and deck parking. A study which compared Wilmington's parking fees to areas like Durham and Wrightsville Beach showed that Wilmington's fees are drastically lower. Council will vote on the budget at its meetings scheduled for June 7th and June 21st. In Pender County, a guilty verdict for a Rocky Point man accused of arson. Hector Zapata was convicted of first-degree arson and 2 counts of breaking and entering. On August 23, 2020, Zapata set fire to a house on South Alderman Street in Atkinson. 3 people were in the home at the time. Fortunately, they were not hurt. For more on these stories, you can head over to wwaytv3.com. I'm Matt Bennett. Have a great day.
Happy Friday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. Get ready for another warm one in the Cape Fear, but not as hot as it's been over the past several days. High temperatures away from the coast will climb into the low 90s. Along the immediate coastline, we'll get into the upper 80s. The good news is today we have a cold front that's going to push into our area, elevating our shower and storm chances this evening. As that front pushes into our area, the threat for damaging winds and even some heavier downpours and lightning all on the cards. Overnight tonight, though, temperatures fall down to the middle and upper 60s. And get your full forecast on WWAY.tv3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. Twomenandatruck.com.
We need judges who serve we the people, not self-interested career politicians. This is Jenny Statting, wife of Judge Michael Statting, your conservative candidate for North Carolina Court of Appeals. Michael is a former prosecutor, sitting Republican judge, and a reservist in the United States Air Force. Michael is a lifelong public servant. That is why I'm asking you to remember to vote for Judge Michael Statting, your conservative candidate for North Carolina Court of Appeals. Paid for by the committee to elect Michael Statting. Michael Statting is a reservist for the United States Air Force. Use of the job title does not imply endorsement by the Department of Air Force or the Department of Defense.
Enjoying Big Talker Network is as easy as asking for it. Program your digital home assistants such as Google Home, Alexa, and Siri to stream Big Talker Network content by simple voice command. Enjoy convenient hands-free access to program whenever you want, however you want by asking for Big Talker.
We're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Oh, yeah. That's a good vibe. For the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad, right here on the Big Talker Network. The website being bigtalker.live. Hey, you should go check that out. Bigtalker.live. Peruse the schedule of contents. Bask in the glorious plethora of entertainment, information, and shows at your fingertips on the Big Talker app for Android and iOS devices, which you can pair by Bluetooth to your car. Or if you're a cheap bastard like me, I have to use a cable. You can take the Big Talker anywhere and everywhere you want to be. That's right. And on all of those platforms, whether you're using the iOS, Android, or website, you can send an email with any comments, questions, concerns, compliments, or critiques you may have to help us improve as a station. And if you have your own message to get out to the people, you know what? Yeah, we could produce a show for you, be a guest on my show. You could advertise with us to let people know about your product, your business, your service. Just so long as it's not Elvis-themed weddings. That one's going to get us all in trouble. So, yeah, let's leave the king alone. Hey, so now that you've had your educational experience or your daily dose of classroom education from yours truly regarding the scientific nature of neutron stars, pulsars, quasars, etc., hopefully it has inspired you to go out and read a book, maybe take a class, right? One of my recommendations was, pick up an instrument and just suck for a while, right? And do it with your kids. That would be the coolest. Because if more parents were to play horrible music with their little screechy monster kids, the world would be a far better place, right? There wouldn't be any mass shooters because everybody would be too busy having too much fun playing music with their family. Right? Because how can you be mad at somebody when you're having a good time? It's really hard. I don't know why all of my devices keep blowing up today, but it's telling me that, like, a monsoon is coming. It's going to drop about a half inch of rain. It's going to be really bad about 4 o'clock. Half an inch of rain. Okay, so if you're in New Mexico, half an inch of rain will wash out the entire Rio Grande Valley. But in this case, it might bring the temperature down a little bit, which was nice after yesterday's little bit of a splash. Temperature dropped about 30 degrees, and every bug on the planet decided that it was feast time. But then again, you know, all of these changes are going to be reflected not just in humans and in our weather. It's going to be, you know, noticed in just about everything. In our bugs, in our waterways, in our weather, all that. Let's see. Story from my friend Kenna. If anybody knows Kenna, she needs to go to the NBCNewYork.com website to read about the story by Ida Siegel. I wonder if she was related. Woman is New York City bar hero. Not bar like a drink. Is it a bar? Oh, it is a drinking bar. I thought it was a lawyer. My bad. Woman is New York City bar's hero after calmly grabbing and removing a possum that wandered inside. The seemingly fearless patron said it was no big deal. She's not from Brooklyn. She's from Alaska. Deal with that. When a possum walks into a Brooklyn bar, it sounds like the setup to a joke, but it's actually the setup to the Only in New York story. It's a story that made Sarah Fulton a local celebrity for what she did at Tempkins Bar in Greenpoint Thursday night. That's where she's known as a hero for saving all the terrified barflies from a terrifying opossum. I was outside hanging out with my friends outside the bar. The door was open, and then all of a sudden we see this critter run in, and we looked at each other, and we were just like, was that a dog? Was that a rat? We both looked at each other and were like, that was too big to be a rat. It has to be an opossum. I don't know, man. New York alligators in the sewer, come on. Video shows Fulton grabbing the opossum by the scruff. Then she walked out the bar and sent the mischievous marsupial on his way. No muss, no fuss. Fulton said it was no big deal. She's not from Brooklyn. She's from Alaska. The opossum is tiny compared to the moose family that used to live in her backyard there. Okay, yeah, but I don't think you grabbed a moose by the scruff, all right? So, just back off. I'm from Alaska, and I used to go camping with black bears hanging out at my campsite. I think it was just instinctual. I just, went up to him, and I was like, hey, I know you're afraid. I was like, all right. I think I'm just going to scruff you and take you out because that would be the least painful for you. Everyone else in the bar quickly panicked as the only wildlife most Brooklynites are used to are rats and cockroaches, making them way out of their depth that night with the opossum. I mean, everybody just lost their minds. We couldn't believe it was happening, said bartender Rachel Bessemer. I grabbed my phone. I didn't know who to call. I was like, this is not what people do. By the time the job was done, Fulton was the toast of the town, or at least the bar, where drinks lined up for her. Everyone bought her so many rounds it turned into a party afterward. They're like, you're a hero, you're a celebrity. I'm like, what? No. For me, it's just a wild animal, but I have to realize I'm not in Alaska, and that's not something you see every day in New York. Now, what's interesting is she fails to notice it, or fails to mention that most of the rats in New York walk on 2 legs and wear a suit. And they're usually really fat and poop on a gold toilet. Those are the rats you need to worry about. No more Elvis. No more Marilyn Monroe. Enough with the Powerball, because if you're relying on... okay. I gotta see this one just because it's not... I think Keith pitched it a little wrong to me here. Sure, whatever. I don't plan to be back. Oddity Central is the website. Making sure that I'm over 18 years old so that I can read these dangerous words. Okay, I'm going to start with a headline and see if we can't unpack it from there. Drunk man tramples 4 luxury cars, now owes $150,000 in repair. Tramples? Tramples. I've heard of people being trampled, like trying to leave a festival or a burning building. But trampling a car? Not sure. Well, first of all, it starts in China. Let's go there. Chengdu, China. 24-year-old man, obviously not a Mensa candidate, has to pay at least 150 clams, 150,000 in repair costs after trampling and vandalizing 4 luxury vehicles in a hotel parking lot while drunk. Yeah, alcohol leads to the best stories. Incident occurred on the evening of May 21st when a clearly inebriated moron, was filmed. No, you were videoed. Film has not been used in a while. Kicking and trampling on a number of luxury cars despite his girlfriend's best effort to stop him. It's unclear what prompted this sort of reaction from the perpetrator, referred to only as Gao by Chinese media, but considered that he looks very drunk. A logical explanation may not even exist. The damaged cars include a Lamborghini and 2 Rolls Royces, and the repair costs have been estimated at about $150,000, as mentioned previously. The photograph that I see here, which is a screen grab from the security camera, the guy is actually on top of the Bugatti. Now, wait, is that a Bugatti? Which one's that? That one might be the, no, that's the Lambo. And it looks like he's, doing the Mac the Knife dance up there on the Lambo. So he actually, trampled it, but it's not trampled. He danced on the thing. He stomped on it and stuff. But, trampled is like what Woodstock looked like afterwards, or Fire Festival. That was trampled. Right? Gao's vandalism was discovered by the staff at a luxury hotel. I bet it wasn't the staff. I bet somebody was like, I'm going to go get my smokes out of the what the hell happened to my car? After receiving complaints from the owners, they reviewed the security camera footage and discovered the drunk man taking his anger out on the cars despite his girlfriend's efforts to stop him. I think never mind. It's probably because she said no and now he's mad and has to act out. It happens in nightclubs all across the country every weekend. I mean, how many nightclub meat markets have you gone into and there's at least 3 or 4 fist-sized holes through the drywall in the bathroom? That's right, hominis americanus. We are just not we're one of the most dangerous species on this planet. Chinese media reported this after sobering up and learning of what he had done. Gao went to a police station and turned himself in. He has been arrested and criminally charged with vandalism. It's not clear if he'll get any prison time, but he will most definitely have to cover the reparation costs for the damaged luxury cars. I'm guessing you'll be riding a bicycle for the rest of your life. The release footage went viral on Chinese social media last week, with most commentators criticizing Gao's behavior and citing his case as the perfect example why no one should drink themselves into a state where they no longer have common sense. That's funny. That's absolutely flicking hilarious. Apparently, this is like China's one of few cases as the perfect example. I got plenty. Mark Meadows, Madison Cawthorn, Nancy Pelosi, right? I mean, not that they are drunk, useless people themselves, but their parents got drunk, had sex, and we had Madison Cawthorn. So, yeah. A lot of children were born when they were inebriated themselves into a state where they no longer have common sense. Right? I mean, if you think the joke about, a $7 sundress leading to $70,000 in child support is no, it's not wrong. But it takes both people to make that dance happen, right? It's not like you just tripped and whoop, oh, I'm sorry, I just spilled seed all up in you. No. There's two people required to make that dance happen. So, as long as you're not in an Elvis-themed wedding hammered out of your skull, you probably be all right. Now, if you want to convince me that you're actually in love and that this is your soul mate and you believe it down into your very soul, well, you're going to have to do better than the story coming out of Kolkata. Yes, Kolkata, the home of the greatest concentration of internet scammers on the planet. However, a woman decided to leave the corrupt and horrible place known as India. She swims from India. Oh, sorry, the other way around. She swam to this horrible freaking place from a place that's even worse. Woman swims to India from Bangladesh to marry lover. A Bangladeshi woman swam across the border to reach India to marry her lover. Here's what happened next. Apparently, they weren't in love. They were just banging, right? Because we tend to use the word lover to mean sex partner. I mean, how often at a Tinder hookup is love involved, okay? Let's at least start being on. There are 80,000 words in the English language. Let's start using the right ones, okay? Not her lover, her boy toy, her sex buddy, right? That's what this is, bang buddy. 22-year-old Bangladeshi woman swam across the border to marry her boyfriend from India. She braved the wild forests of the Sundarbans, swam for an hour, and entered India to unite with the love of her life. The Bangladeshi woman, identified as Krishna Mandal, met Abik Mandal on Facebook and fell in love. See, they fell in love on Facebook. As Krishna did not have a passport, she chose to cross the border illegally. According to police sources, Krishna first entered the Sundarbans, somebody pronounce that for me, which is known for its Royal Bengal tigers. She then swam for about an hour. There's not a lot. They've already been, captured, kidnapped, and destroyed for Tiger King. So, there's 4 left. And they're staying as far away from humans as they possibly can. They do not want to end up looking like Joe Exotic, right? So, is known for Royal Bengal tigers until you sold them all, captured them all, you cretins. What happens next? 3 days ago, Krishna got married to Abik at some temple in Kolkata. However, she was arrested on Monday for illegally entering the country. Sources say Krishna may be handed over to the Bangladesh High Commission earlier this year. The Bangladeshi teen swam across the border to buy chocolate from India. Oh, no, it's not the same one. Sorry. A Bangladeshi teen to buy chocolate, Aman Hossain, swam across a small river and crossed the border into India through a gap in a fence to get his favorite chocolate bar. The teen was handed over to the local police, after which he was produced before the court. He was then remanded to 15 days in judicial custody. So hopefully they at least got their honeymoon night, right? So let's see how that works. They fell in love on Facebook. What a bunch of crap. 3 days ago and Monday. So I'm guessing the 3 days ago would have been like Friday. They got married really quick, so I'm guessing none of this was planned. But now we have another. It's from the IRS. We are calling because you must pay your IRS with the Apple Pay cards. You must go to the Google store and send us the money. Yeah. So it's unfortunate that a lot of India is being tainted by these people, but seeing as how India hasn't done anything to all of the efforts to stop these scammers from scamming Americans is coming from Americans and a couple of folks from the UK, because the people in India do not give a damn. The backhanded, underhanded, backdoor, back alley dealings and bribery is rampant in that place. I mean, there's a number of great YouTube, Scam Baiter, Scammer Revolts, Try Something Media, Try Media, whatever. I mean, these guys are really good at messing up and messing with the scammers. And they actually, they have one of the guys, Jim Browning, actually has maps of where these guys are. Another guy, I think it's Pierogi, has actually infiltrated the building's security cameras, right? And had been listening and paying attention and jotting down names. So when he managed to flag them to get them to call him to try and scam him, he has a voice changer. I'm sorry, I'm an old lady and I just don't do well with the computers. Is there something wrong with my system? And of course, he makes them think that he's a grandmother, and they use all of their psychological BS to try and, persuade this poor old lady that she needs to buy $1,000 worth of Google gift cards or Amazon or whatever it was. And while they're thinking that they're, getting into this guy's computer and bank account, it's actually a virtual machine, in which case he has on the main machine reversed the connection and is completely devastating their machine from the inside. So, seeing as how India will do absolutely nothing to stop their criminals, and it has to be from Americans from over here having to do it, I just think that everybody in Kolkata and India proper, the way they run their caste system, the way they run their government, and the way they run their oil monies, right? That whole area is just completely warped. Horrible human beings. They make humanus Americanus look like frickin' angels. And again, it's not everybody. It's not like everybody in America is a jackhole. Just, the ones in office. Madison Cawthorn, Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, Rand Paul, Meadows, who's not even a part of this anymore, thank God. But he's still, he tripled the votes. The one man votes in South Carolina, North Carolina, and West Virginia, or wherever the hell he's got houses, right? That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. But as long as you're, committing voter fraud, you might as well yell voter fraud so people look elsewhere for voter fraud rather than at the fraudulent voter. Okay, enough of that. But still, to hell with India. At least until they're willing to prosecute and convict these people, because they skate. Every single time. Again, any of those cats I listed, Pierogi, Scammer Revolt, Scammer Payback, Jim Browning, all those guys. Wonderful to watch. If you think that there's, if you have, like myself, lost hope that there are any heroes left in the world, you need to see these. They'll make you feel so much better. So why this woman was trying to get to Kolkata, I don't know. She should be thankful she avoided a bullet, but I don't know what it's like in Bangladesh either. I mean, just my own personal experience. But any situation that is run wholly through a religious lens has been an absolute nightmare and a failure. So, trying to run a country that way is just not going to be a good idea. It's just going to be horrible, 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 horrible. Little bit to go before this news break. Yellowstone, where all the stupid white people like to go to get, in touch with nature. What about when nature touches back? Coming out of Chicago. I don't know why this story's coming out of Chicago. The woman is from Ohio, and Yellowstone is nowhere near any of those two places. But anyway, here we go. Bison gores woman in Yellowstone National Park and tosses her 10 feet in the air. The 25-year-old woman from Grove City, Ohio, sustained a puncture wound and other injuries after getting too close to the bison. American, hominis americanus. Stupid human. A bison gored a 25-year-old woman in Yellowstone National Park after she approached the animal on Monday. And they're going to get mad at the animal. The bison was walking near a boardwalk at Black Sand Basin just north of Old Faithful when the woman approached it, according to a park statement. She got within 10 feet before the animal got pissed off and gored her and tossed her 10 feet into the air. I can relate to this bison. Any human gets within 10 feet of me that I don't know and I don't like, I really wish I could gore them and send them 10 feet into the air and walk away. That would be so much fun. The woman from Grove City, Ohio, sustained a puncture wound and other injuries. Park emergency medical providers laughed. No, I'm sorry. I laughed. Park emergency medical providers responded and transported her via ambulance to a hospital in Idaho while I laughed. Park officials say it's the first reported bison goring this year. Hey, you get these often? How stupid are people? This is how stupid we are. The first reported bison goring this year, the park statement said bison are unpredictable, have injured more people in Yellowstone than any other animal, and can run 3 times faster than humans. Okay, maybe you should have led with that before you let them into the park. Don't mess with the bison. They're faster, bigger, and stronger than you, all right? It's like when you go into the south side of New York or whatever, south side of Chicago, you know, keep your hands and feet inside the ride at all times, for Christ's sake. Do not approach the natives. They will not respond well. Park regulations require visitors to remain more than 25 yards away from bison because they don't have the best eyesight. I mean, when you're that big, you don't need it. The park statement said 2 other people were also within 25 yards of the same bison. Well, that's because they had somebody in front of them. It's like, I don't need to run faster than everybody. I just need to run faster than you. So if you have one person that's within 10 feet of the bison, the people that are 20 feet away from the bison got a 10-foot head start. And chances are, after the bison turned its attention to the idiot who got within 10 feet, everybody else just became, like, inconsequential to his reality. The incident was under investigation. No additional information was immediately available. Not needed. We know what happened. Idiot walked up to a very big animal, and the animal got pissed off and said, "No, get away from me." But no, the gored woman who remained without a name because she doesn't want to be, you know, she should be. Everybody on the planet should be calling her like, what the hell were you thinking? Is this what you wanted to do to become famous? Was that your idea? Is that what you were trying to do? Really? Moron. You deserved that one. All the way around. Oh, hey, look at that. All right. Look at this. I get more fancy buttons to press. Yeah, okay. So, about time to take that break. Nice. So, don't go nowhere. It's the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. We'll be back right here. We'll be right back here on the Big Talker Network. Yeah, we never shut up. See you in a bit.
Hello, I'm Matt Bennett with WWAY News. A New Hanover County Board of Education member and candidate has filed a complaint with the State Board of Elections. Nelson Bollier alleges current board member and candidate Judy Justice misled voters by printing palm cards promoting herself as well as two other candidates, saying they were endorsed by teachers. Bollier cited a post Justice made which said those cards were paid for by teachers. However, Justice's financial records indicate she received a large donation from Jen Mangrum, a former state Senate candidate. Justice says she received donations from Mangrum and teachers in the area, and that those funds paid for the palm cards. Attorney General Josh Stein says North Carolina's local governments have started receiving the first payments from a major settlement with multiple companies accused of helping fuel the opioid epidemic. The payments, which started arriving this week, come from a $26 billion national opioid agreement with four major companies. The state of North Carolina got about $4.5 million from the settlement. 65 local governments across the state also are getting a share of about $13 million. If you're heading to shops, restaurants, or concerts in downtown Wilmington, it may cost a bit more for drivers if City Council votes to adopt an upcoming budget. That budget includes higher parking rates that could go into effect in August. Parking manager Chance Dunbar recommended rate increases for both on-street and deck parking. A study which compared Wilmington's parking fees to areas like Durham and Wrightsville Beach showed that Wilmington's fees are drastically lower. Council will vote on the budget at its meetings scheduled for June 7th and June 21st. In Pender County, a guilty verdict for a Rocky Point man accused of arson. Hector Zapata was convicted of first-degree arson and 2 counts of breaking and entering. On August 23, 2020, Zapata set fire to a house on South Alderman Street in Atkinson. 3 people were in the home at the time. Fortunately, they were not hurt. For more on these stories, you can head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Matt Bennett. Have a great day.
Happy Friday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. Get ready for another warm one in the Cape Fear, but not as hot as it's been over the past several days. High temperatures away from the coast will climb into the low 90s. Along the immediate coastline, we'll get into the upper 80s. The good news is today we have a cold front that's going to push into our area, elevating our shower and storm chances this evening. As that front pushes into our area, the threat for damaging winds and even some heavier downpours and lightning all on the cards. Overnight tonight, though, temperatures fall down to the middle and upper 60s. And get your full forecast on WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
Tune in to the WWAY News at 6 p.m.
Thank you for joining us tonight for your news at 6. I'm Hannah Patrick.
I'm Randy Aldridge. We want to get straight to our WWAY team coverage of last night.
For the biggest and most compelling stories that make a difference.
On the scene shortly after the blaze began and has the story now.
Cleveland is one of the fastest growing towns in the country.
First court appearance this morning in Pender County.
WWAY News at 6 p.m. This is the place.
O'Leary's Automotive Repair has multiple locations in the area in Hampstead, Leland, the Myrtle Grove area, Ogden, and Wrightsboro. O'Leary's Automotive Repair, a trusted, locally owned business since 2006.
Hi, this is Justin Humphreys from the Humphreys Law Firm on Eastwood Road. Tune in Thursdays from 6 to 7 p.m. for Objection to the Form, covering civil litigation, real estate issues, and intellectual property. That's Objection to the Form, Thursdays 6 to 7 p.m. right here on the Big Talker 106.7 FM.
Enjoying Big Talker Network is as easy as asking for it. Program your digital home assistants such as Google Home, Alexa, and Siri to stream Big Talker Network content by simple voice command. Enjoy convenient hands-free access to program whenever you want, however you want by asking for Big Talker.
Hey, welcome back to the Asylum, your refuge in the world gone mad, right here on the Big Talker Network. And one of the common themes in our show has to do with the stupidity that we tend to experience, certainly at the hands of sports stars. Before I go too much further, please visit BigTalker.live website, peruse the schedule of content, send us an email with any comments, questions, concerns, compliments, or critiques you may have. We can't improve without you. Oh, that was abrupt. Thank you. Thank you. Jerk. All right. Stupid people in America are of no shortage. Stupid people related to sports stars, even more so. Oh, you're wondering where I'm going with this. Okay. Police, Drunk driver crashes, heads straight to dealership to try and sell damaged car with a missing tire. Can't wait to get out of the garage. This is our final Friday. I'm going to move into an actual building with air conditioning and windows and screens and stuff. Okay. Jordan Mattingly. Remember that name, Mattingly. Anybody remember that name yet? Okay, first of all, I've been to this place. It's called Evansville, Indiana. Coming out of WFIE. Evansville, Indiana. Just keep that in mind and keep the name Mattingly in mind. This will all come together in about 8 sentences. All right, you ready? Police say they arrested a driver who was 3.5 times the legal alcohol limit after at least 5 people called 911. There are times when somebody is just so freaking stupid, you have to look at the parents and say, what the hell were you doing? What? You are responsible. You did this. Looking at the parents. That you have a guy here who's driving at 3.5 times the legal alcohol limit. What did you teach your children? Sentence 2. They say witnesses reported seeing a SUV hit the median of the Lloyd Expressway near Main Street exit. That the crash caused a flat tire and the car to smoke, but the driver kept going. Mensa candidate. You've done a great job raising a wonderful child. Other callers say the driver was all over the road and now missing a front tire. They say he eventually stopped at a car dealership and appeared, quote, super drunk. Employees told police the driver, 30-year-old Jordan Mattingly, he was trying to sell his SUV. Police say he had swelling and scratches as if he had just been in a crash. They say Mattingly smelled of alcohol and almost fell several times. Officers say he tested .291 on a portable breath test. Police say inside his SUV they found 4 Loco cans and a can of White Claw. Obviously not a man, but a child. Maybe even a prepubescent little girl drinking White Claws and Locos. I mean, come on. You're 30 years old. And this, anyway. Here's the sentence that really ties it together. Mattingly is facing several charges. You think? Now, remember we were saying parents raising horrible people? He is the son of the manager for the Miami Marlins and former professional baseball player Don Mattingly. Don Mattingly, a sports guy, raised an asshole of a child who's 30 years old and probably still living with daddy, trying to sell the SUV he just wrecked because he was drunk. And someone in his family taught him that it's cool to drive around drunk 3 times the normal limit, or the acceptable limit, while getting hammered on Loco and White Claws. That's the child you raised, a 30-year-old child. Don Mattingly, Miami Marlins, this is your fault. You did this. This is your child. No one else did this to you. No one else has decided that your child should be taught to drink and drive at more than 3 times the legal limit, and that they don't require or should, pay any consequences. How's that? Yeah, wreck your SUV, sell it, go buy some more Locos and White Claws. Head back to the Miami Marlins. Hang out with Daddy Don Mattingly, the manager. Horrible human beings creating horrible human beings. The worst that happens under, when musicians create children that become musicians, the worst that happens is you end up with Dixie Chicks or Takanashi 6ix9ine or whatever that guy is. alcohol and driving as the son of a famous sports guy. Huh. Imagine that. Imagine that. Enough with the sports figures. Enough with glorifying the violent, the untouchable, the Ray Rices of the world, the Don Mattingleys of the world. That's not art, that's violence. That's the gladiator crap left over from Roman days. If we are going to evolve as humans, by the way, evolution did not stop for human beings with opposable thumbs. We are in dire need of growth as a species. Certainly in America, right? I mean, you want to talk gun control? We're still wrestling with alcohol. We're still wrestling with drug addiction. And I still contend and will further contend, pontificate, and propagate that the article I wrote for Ordinary-Times wraps it up really well, solves all of these problems, including the need, right? We all cry about this opioid addiction and how it damages everybody around them and all this stuff, but nobody's answering the question of why a person feels a need to get to that point. All of these things, the suicides, the drug addictions, the gun violence, all of this is based on the fact that we have not paid any attention. We have broken our brains, is what it is. It's not that we're heartless and we need God. Being heartless and following God has killed more people across this planet. Oh, by the way, which God? Right? How many wars have been waged in that name? When more than two of you are gathered in his name, there is love. There's also war. Yeah? I mean, as far as that goes, organized religion in Russia right now is saying that the Ukrainians are subhuman and deserve to die. So, I'm not really hip to listening to anybody who considers themselves some sort of religious voice box. Not happening. These are horrible human beings that do not need to be, again, stop making stupid people famous. Like Don Mattingly, whose son is this moron, Jordan Mattingly. 3 times the legal limit. And think about it, this is 4 o'clock, 4:30 on a Monday afternoon. Right? Driving around, where was he? Evansville. Crashing around Evansville. I mean, Evansville is already a not-so-fun town to be in. If it wasn't for French Lick and West Baden, it would be completely uninhabitable. So, yeah, anybody know anybody from the Miami Marlins or Mr. Don Mattingly? Yeah, ask him how his son came to be such a jackhole. Because Don Mattingly probably never educated the kid in, the ways of the actual real world. Horrible, horrible horrible humans. Absolutely horrible humans. Mattingly is facing several charges. Imagine that. You take him back to Daddy's house? Hey, Don, we have your son Jordan here. Yeah, he'll be okay. He might need an ice pack, maybe a couple of Band-Aids and an aspirin. But yeah, we found him at a dealership trying to sell your car. Yeah, they didn't want it because it was missing a tire. Oh, yeah. It's missing a tire because your drunk son crashed into the median on the Lloyd Expressway near Main Street because he was 3.5 times the legal limit drunk. So, and it's 4 PM. So, what are you teaching your, how did you raise your son to be this type of horrible human being? Are you proud of your son, Don Mattingly? Are you proud of his accomplishments? Are you proud of him making the news? Huh? I guess being a manager for the Miami Marlins isn't exciting enough. He needs to get his name out in the news again because he's no longer the professional baseball player he once was, and the Marlins, I guess, are, inconsequential in the real world. But Don Mattingly's son, Jordan Mattingly, is going to get hammered and terrorize the town with impunity. Right? I mean, you want to talk entitlement, there it is. The son of Don Mattingly, Jordan Mattingly, who has obviously done nothing interesting or positive in his own life, decides to get hammered at 4 in the afternoon and go on a cruise. Yeah, I'm going to sell my car. I bet what it was is he's like, oh, man, I just wrecked my dad's car. He's going to be mad. I better go get another one. Look, I want to sell my SUV. It's missing a tire. Knock $50 off. What? Don Mattingly, Miami Marlins. This is how you raise your super rich friends, right? I mean, this is your children. I mean, can you imagine what Ray Rice's children would be like? Right? So stop with that. Let's stop funding that crap at the public school level, which is where all these children, every last one of these shooters, whether it's a mass shooter or just a jerk in the gas station, every one of these people was brought through the educational system at age 6 and dehumanized, desensitized, and stripped of any and all empathy and connection to other human beings on the planet. No sense of artistic connection, no sense of expression whatsoever. But we got football. And football is the exact microcosm that we are trying to battle in the nation's capital. Right? We have what are called echo chambers. Well, a football team is basically the nascent creation of an echo chamber. And has been for years, because every high school has a rival, and anytime they have a rival football game, they're going to crush those guys. And you treat them like the enemy. You talk about them like the enemy. We're going to crush those Japs, gooks. Ain't no good Jap but a dead Jap. Ain't no good gook but a dead gook. Right? Because we dehumanize people in the Army so that we can kill them with impunity. There's no way you can shoot Bob. But you can shoot a gook or a Jap or a, what do they call them, a Kraut. Right? We had all these wonderful nicknames that took away their humanity and allowed us to kill them because they are no longer human and therefore not worthy of the same divine rights that we have by right of existence. That's where the whole damn thing falls apart. The education system has been routed out to the point that the only thing that these educational testing things are about is for allocating resources, allocating funds. That is, if the principal of a school wants to make his bonus that year, he needs to have SAT scores that are better than X. Or whatever that number is. Because if you don't know math, you don't understand that X is a substitute for an unknown number. And for us to find that number for the optimal, for example, when launching the space shuttle or launching the Dragon X, there's a lot of math involved, and at some point, X is very, very important. But in this case, X is representing the amount of money any given school system or school itself receives. And the ones with big football programs get more money for the football program. How many of these states, how many of these schools are actually battling over the best musical program? 0. There's like 4 or 5 high-end private music schools across the country, and that's it. The only one you can name is Juilliard. After that, it's only post-high school, right? That's where you have MIT, that's where you have Berkeley, you have UT Jazz. But it's not in the public school. A lot of stuff is not in the public school, right? Civics, the discourse or discussions of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States, all 7 paragraphs. I mean, how hard is it to read 7 paragraphs? Y'all could read mangas all day long. Oh, I get it. It's not in a one-panel meme. I get it. We can't even do Sunday comics anymore because there's more than one meme and you have to put them together. Folks, we need to raise our own bar. And I think a number of concerned citizens should drive over to Mr. Don Mattingly's place of worship, the Miami Marlins, right? And have a little chat about him. Did you not raise your son to understand that he needs to hold his own at some point, or is he still living at home sucking on the teat? Mommy's still doing his laundry? Mommy's still cooking his food? Oh, no, I'm sorry. You're a professional baseball player, so you probably have as much money as God. So he's probably never used his kitchen for anything other than washing his hands and making coffee. Got a friend of mine that's always complaining, I'm always broke, I don't have any money. You just bought somebody else's headache in a sports car, used sports car, right? You buy an iconic sports car with 100,000 miles on it. Those are not pampered miles. Let's start there. Obviously not raised by a parent who instilled some of these knowledge into him, nor did he learn it on his own. But at the same time, he's also eating out, posting pictures of every meal at every restaurant that he eats at, wondering why he doesn't have any money. Right? In the real world, people like, I don't know, you and me, normal folk that have a kitchen and maybe some ingredients, like stuff. For the cost of his one meal, I can eat for an entire week. Because I know I'm not the best cook, and I don't have the most diverse ability to cook. But I would prefer to do that and spend my time at a restaurant when it's something celebratory, like 1 week from, well, would have been yesterday. When I find the restaurant, going through the little list of restaurants that I want to enjoy for my dinner. And looking at my bank account and looking at my arranging area or surrounding areas restaurant offerings, I'm thinking either Taco Bell or Wendy's for my birthday dinner extravaganza. Because I might even add one of those, at the Taco Bell, that weird cinnamon dessert thing they have. I might even have to skip both of those, go to McDonald's for one of those Hershey pies. Ooh, or maybe even Waffle House. They got that mousse pie. That thing is awesome. Anyway, and if you any of the pies, you may not know this, but if you go to Waffle House and order a pie, any type of pie, you can ask for the syrup to put on your pie. Look, I didn't do it. I was sober. One of the people I was with was not sober, and he was wanting pie with syrup. Okay. Of course, the amount of insulin purging in his system trying to handle all the alcohol. As he woke up the next morning, the poor bastard was in so much pain that his head and his butt were both just in absolute agony, and the dude was just curled up in between like a big sock, just hating life. Bom dia! Look at that, it's sunshine, kids playing in the yard, bugs everywhere, and I want to get the hell out of this garage. I like working in the garage, but this is where I should be doing things like, cutting wood and carving little statues to the gods that control my life and the stars that are, of course, in charge of my astrology and my well-being. The computers involved, they really do belong inside, but it has taken me 6 months to fully understand and distill from the bloated nature of what was the radio station Big Talker FM and turned it into something a little more streamlined, a little more lean, a little more mean, a little more effective. And, of course, the bonus is that I get to talk into the mic and, annoy the hell out of you guys, which is why we're here, talking about Don Mattingly's son, the Miami Marlins manager, the son of this person. There are times I have to stop because I have like buckets of adjectives for people like this. right? So, yeah, I'm guessing Jordan Mattingly was never held to account for his behavior as a child. He was probably raised by people that weren't even in his family, while Don Mattingly was Mr. Professional Baseball Guy. Right? I mean, how many of these famous people raise their own children? I'll give Angelina Jolie as the exception. She adopted half of Africa and raised them all herself. Now there's a bunch of angry young... Never mind. But her actual daughter is stunning, but probably angry as hell too. But, you know, I don't know how these things work. That's in a stratosphere none of us will ever know. But we do know that their children are allowed to drink and kill and pillage and whatever else with impunity. I mean, isn't that what Tekashi... I'm going to look that up real quick. I don't even know how to spell it. Oh, look, the internet does. Oh, I didn't even see, even it didn't spell it 9. Formerly, oh, I see. Known professionally. All right, so what's he in jail for? Because he went to prison for a while, didn't he? Mixtape, and I mean, nothing about this guy is anything I'm interested in. Let's see, where's his arrest? Oh, child sex performance charges, choking incident, robbery, assault, kidnapping, Chief Keef shooting, domestic violence, and alleged sexual assault, and the 9 Trey gangsters. So obviously not a very good human being all the way around. But he's also the son of somebody famous, wasn't he? Oh, no. Hernandez played baseball and soccer throughout his youth and was assigned to a major league soccer team at 13, but his mother declined because she did not trust a stranger taking her son at a young age. What a horrible, horrible human being. Oh, yeah, I thought he had, like, somebody famous in his family. But I'm glad I'm wrong about that because, you know, his being a barrio reject. But these are who we worship. These are the heroes. If you want to know why the country's going to hell in a handbasket, just look at that. We are no longer enjoying real music and real musicians. We've been, what's the word I'm looking for? Snookered by these scammers. I mean, he's not a musician, he's a scammer. Just be honest about it. He's not a musician. Rap, whatever. We're getting into a whole subjective slide right there, but if the guy's already, I mean, just look at his history. Just look at his criminal rap sheet. Even if he didn't get convicted, you don't get that close to the fire without being part of the, you know, you can't be that close. You can't be that close to the source of the smoke without being a part of the fire. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, for example, a lot of people that I used to know with whom I stepped away with are now either dead or in prison because I saw early enough that it's like, you are horrible people that I don't want to hang out with. Right? I mean, that basic test of, is this somebody that I would invite to my house for dinner? And no. So, yeah, I left. And some of them are arrested, some of them are dead for different reasons. These are decisions I made for myself. So, yes, I made a judgment call based on what I was experiencing, hearing, and learning from these people and decided that, you know, not worth it to me. So, no, I don't have a whole lot of friends, but the friends I have are people that I would invite to my house. I would give them the keys to my house. You need a place to crash? Here. Trash is on Monday. Because that part of it's not important to me. The part of it that's important to me is your character. If you're rich as all get out, but you are an absolute jackhole, I want nothing to do with you. Your money doesn't mean crap to me. But on the other hand, if you're, driving around in the same beat-up car you've had for 20 years and the tape is holding the door handle on, but you have enough money to buy the car dealership, mad respect. I can appreciate you. Because you're not one of these jackholes with the gold rims and the blinky lights and the raised trucks and the loud exhaust and all the crap. Because I want to stand out. I want people to pay attention to me. And then when you get robbed or shot and you wonder why, well, you just painted a target on your back. And then you went traipsing through one of the most, for example, Creekwood or Wilmington proper, like the 3rd Street in front of the library, right? Every one of these people want what you have, and they are willing to kill you to get it. But hey, blame society, not your own arrogance, your own entitled, I want to show off. Right? Men have been using it against women. Well, you wouldn't have gotten raped if you hadn't dressed like that. Well, guess what, guys? Don Mattingly, your child wouldn't be an alcoholic wreck of a human being if you weren't a wreck yourself, if you weren't such a, useless, horrible human being. Okay, that's a way to end a Friday. Good Lord. Now I'm really pissed off and I got to go deal with everything else. Okay, maybe something a little more gentle. Hello, computer. Yeah, there we go. That ends another broadcast week. It is our final Friday broadcasting from the garage in a secluded area of Holly Ridge, North Carolina. We will join you again next week when the Big Talker is now housed in the proper, sheltered, air-conditioned environment that is my bedroom. And yes, I had to scale down a few other things. I will be sleeping next to these computers, keeping me company until we get into a more permanent location, which I am looking forward to. And you could help us do that, right? You could even produce your own show, have me produce it, and I'll roll out to your place and produce it. I mean, there's a lot of options here, but we need your help to get there. One way you can help is just by clicking, liking, subscribing, sharing, and letting people know that we are still here and still kicking butt. Another way you can help is to, advertise on the Big Talker. Lots of opportunities there. Another way you can help the Big Talker is to come buy this Frigidaire stacking washer and dryer. It would be perfect for your smaller home or vacation rental. So, any money you give us, I throw it right into the Big Talker to pay the bills, to keep us online, keep us on air, because here at the Big Talker, we never shut up. See you on Monday, kids.
Keeping Leland informed. The Big Talker 106.7 FM WFBT, Carolina Beach.
Government has become too big, too overtaxing, and is constantly over-regulating every aspect of your life.
If you agree with that, tune into Consumer Choice Radio every Saturday at 10 a.m. here on the Big Talker 106.7 FM with me, Yael Osowski.
And me, David Clement. For an hour, you'll get expert analysis on what the government is sinking its teeth into next and how you, as a consumer, can push back.
ConsumerChoiceRadio.com.
Watch out! You got me!
The galaxy is safe once again.
In the pretend universe, kids